Hello, alright, so today I'm going to be modelling the nut in Fusion 360, and the main learning objectives when modelling the nut is to learn something called the projection tool and something else called threading. These are the technical drawings that we will be modelling to, and the rough process is sketch, extrude, sketch, revolve, chamfer, thread, and then to end it off with a fillet. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start off by once again saving it as nut in 3D tutorial and separate components. We're going to save that, turn on our origin, and then make a new component and name that as nut. Now you're going to make a new sketch and select the ZX plane. We're going to go into create, polygon, circumscribe to polygon, select our datum, and just move outwards. Now, as you can see, it's still unconstrained. I can pivot it around, and the size isn't constrained as well. So to change this, I'm going to move my mouse over to the horizontal and vertical constraint, select the top, and go into line type construction, select this datum here, all the way up to the top, and change this to 9mm. And then after that, I'm going to go select center diameter circle, make sure that construction line isn't selected, and then just make a circle like so. Now it doesn't have to be 12mm, and you'll see why later. I could change it to 4mm, but we will see why it doesn't really matter what dimension, what diameter this circle needs to be. So then after that, you can finish your sketch and then extrude this plane upwards by 8mm. Now after that, we're going to do another sketch, but this time on the YZ plane. So that's this one right here. So you're going to go into create sketch, this face here. Now, while you could try and draw a line on this, so what we're going to do is something that looks a bit like this. You'll see that it's already unconstrained, and the reason is because, well, there's no datum. I can move it around, and you can see although I'm trying to get it to connect from this point, there's nothing to connect it to. We can see this if we were to toggle off the visibility of the body. You can see it's nowhere near the datum. The computer has no idea essentially where it is. So we're going to use a tool called projection. And essentially all that this does is squish your 3D body or sketch on a different plane onto that 2D plane. So for example, I've got a selection filter to be on specified entities, so I can select just faces. And you can see how by just clicking this face, this 3D face has been flattened onto this 2D sketch plane. If I were to instead change it to bodies, select this instead, you can see how the entire nut essentially has been squished onto this 2D plane into a datum that we can then reference to. However, for now, let's just use the project /include for just one vertex, and that's this point right here. So now if I go and use the coincident tool, select this point to that point, I can then dimension this angle to be 45 degrees. Then I can change this to 5. It doesn't really matter what this dimension is, but as long as it's there and it can make it all the way around when doing the revolve, you're absolutely fine. So then we're going to finish sketch, go into revolve. Now, as you can see, it's already auto-selected this face. And now we're going to select our axis to be the y-axis, so that's this. And you can see it's already selected the cut operation. So when I click OK, you can now see it's already cut. Now before we do the threading, we need to add a chamfer. So we need to go into chamfer, select these two bottom faces, and give it a value of 0.5mm. We're going to click OK, then go into create, and now do the threading. We're going to click this icon here, select this interior face, and you can see that by doing this, it's added a sort of texture onto this interior face. Now this is not molded, and we need it to be molded. So we're going to click this here and make sure everything's correct. So the size, 12mm, designation, doesn't really matter. I'm going to go with 1.75, class 6H, direction, right hand. That's absolutely fine. And now I'm going to click OK. Now, the reason why it didn't actually matter what the diameter of this hole was is because when it comes to the threading, that's already constrained by the size. So for instance, if I go into here, then change it to 2mm, it makes no difference. So it doesn't really matter what size it is, as long as it's there and there's an interior face to put a thread on, it's going to make no difference at all. Then after this, we've got one more thing, and that's adding a fillet. So we're going to click the fillet tool and just go one by one, selecting all of those edges. Just like that. I'm going to add 0.5 millimeters to the value, click OK, activate, and save. And that is the nut done in Fusion 360.